Well, hello, everybody. And here we are again. It is Fatherhood Friday, and we are here for that and fatherhood. I'm so glad to have you joining me tonight. I'm so excited about this opportunity that we have to be on this journey with you to hopefully inspire you in your fatherhood journey. I am hoping that you are growing in your love of fatherhood and my goal is to help father the way I love being a father. So I'm so happy to have you joining me on this journey. It is so exciting to have you. It is so good to have you here with me this evening. Now, I got a special treat for you. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to have a special daddy-daughter conversation that we had along the lines we were talking about being present, not perfect. So I'm excited to have you come along. Before we do that, I wanted to first say, listen, everybody, whatever you do, let's just make sure we pray for the people over in California. I know there's people that's got snowstorms and all that stuff going on. We're trying to recover from some people over there in California. There's some people, some family members that we know that live in vicinity of those areas, and so we just make sure we just keep them up in prayer that they video of some African firefighters that were having such a good time celebrating and enjoying themselves while they're on their way to go and assist and help in the fight these fires. Listen, we should not wish bad upon our the fire contain that they can get everything situated so that the people can start rebuilding their lives. So let's continue to pray for the people there in California and all the stuff that they have going on. Now, I want to also thank you so much for those who are with me on this journey. I'm going to ask you, if you haven't subscribed, to go ahead and subscribe to our channel there on YouTube. Our podcast is going to be extending a little bit further here really, really soon. And so we're going to be on some other platforms, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm so grateful to be doing at least the that we're on presently, and we're looking forward to that expansion. Okay. Now, also, I want you to know I'm looking forward to just experiencing more. So please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can know whenever we have new content that's being posted, whenever we're posting little reels and all that kind of stuff like that. Whenever we're posting announcements, you will be aware of all of those things. So we're excited and looking forward to all that we have up ahead of us as our podcast expands and it grows. Okay. So also, I want you to remember, I don't want you to forget, at some point in time, you are going to be able to get your hands on this particular resource. This is a book that I have been working on. I am working to get it ready, in your hands so that you can actually be able to utilize just some tools, some strategies, just some things you are working and doing what you can to be good. Okay. I'm excited to get in your hands. Okay. I want to get this in your hands, just a tool for you to be able to utilize. All right. I'm so excited about that. And I'm so looking forward to you being able to have that in your hands. Looking forward to later on doing some other stuff, concept book and workshops and all the things. And we'll be talking about those coming forth. Okay. Also, remember, February is going to be family month. All right. You and I are going to have an opportunity. You're going to get a little bit of a snippet. This is an older video from another channel that I had at one time, but this is a video where my mother and I were sitting down having a conversation. We're having a conversation around the subject matter we talked about on last week, where we talked about being present, not perfect. All right. The requirement is not to be perfect, but we need you to be present. And so you're going to be able to get a little sneak peek into that conversation that I had with my daughter on that other channel. They had other deals they're working on, and we structured some things, but I thought the content of that video. So just excuse the quality of that video. It's not the same, but I just wanted you to be able to get access to that content and be a part of that conversation. I want to make that conversation part of what we have going. But understand, okay, that uh, February again is going to be family month. We're going to be focused on family. So my wife will be on, they will be on individually having a conversation. Well, then it'll be me and the children, and we'll be having these episodes. We'll have some questions about certain little subject matters, and I'm excited for you to join me to be a part of February Family Month. And plus, our grandson is on his way. We are excited about getting up to where we have to eat and be at the hospital. Grandchild, I'm passing out. Yeah, I'm going to be passing out blue cars. I got to find them somewhere. Y'all have to tell me where to find those things, okay? I'm going to be passing out some of those blue bubble gum cigars and saying, I am Papa. Okay, and so I'm excited. I'm okay with him calling me Papa. Whatever he calls me, it'll be fine. Okay, we'll good, right? But understand that that's what it's going to be. So we're excited about it. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to sharing with you just some little insights into realities of what it looked like to grow up in the Wilson household, and all the things had to learn, all the things the Father teach us, and all the things to learn, all those kind of things like that. And so we're grateful, and so happy to have you join us tonight. So if you are ready, I hope you're ready, because we're getting ready to dive right into this video. Again, this is a conversation between me and my daughter a few years back, when I had that other channel that we're talking about, right? So and relax and enjoy this conversation between my daughter as we are
Good, Daddy. Go.
working again just to keep all the dads that we possibly can encourage all over the place. Love mom to stay in the fight, to be encouraged, to be strengthened, to continue doing the fulfilling the duty and the role of being dad. Okay, so this is what I to this channel. Make sure you press the little notification button up there, the little bell up there, so you can be notified whenever we have new content, whenever we have live things that we'll be sharing as well, because pretty soon we're going to get into some things like some giveaways and all that kind of stuff like that, and you want to be a part of it. All right, you want to be a part of it. So again, we're excited, and like I told y'all, I'm going to tell you on every single video, I love being a dad, and I want you to love it too, right? If you already don't love it, and if you love it, then I want you to love it more. Okay, I love being a dad. Everything that comes along with it. One of my favorite T-shirts that I have two of the same T-shirt. They say the same thing: Dad, the toughest job you will ever love. Okay, all rights reserved to whoever made that statement, whoever that belongs to. So I won't take any of your credit. All right. Boom, shaka, laga, laga, God. No, I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, credit to you too, okay? We don't want to do that, okay? So, but we're here, and we've already introduced this conversation. We are part of this series called Present Not Perfect. So you don't have to be perfect, but Dad, we want you to be present.
Yes.
Work hard at it, doing all that you can to be present in the life of your children. And as I shared with you, I'm going to have my daughter with me for a few sessions, and I'm going to have my boys with me here for a few sessions, and we're just going to kind of talk about it so you can hear from my perspective, their perspective, representing the children, and then my wife, she'll come along and she'll be with us, and then you'll get to hear from her perspective, and she'll get the opportunity to kind of share, and we'll just kind of talk about this. But we really want to talk about why it is important for Dad to realize that he doesn't have to be perfect to be present. And today we're going to deal with the reality of how Dad being present, number one, helps a child with their confidence in the things they're pursuing and doing and all that kind of stuff like that. And we're going to talk about why, from the child's perspective, why do we not have to be perfect? Because we don't. Perfect does not exist. Remember, if you haven't seen that last video, I want you to go and watch that last video. And by the way, let me go ahead and give you these 3 things, Dad, that you need to always remember. Go back and watch the last video, and you can hear the explanation of them all. Number 1, you must understand, above everything, you must understand, Dad, that you matter. Dad, you matter. Dad, you matter. Okay? So we want to make sure that you understand that you matter. Okay, no matter how you feel, no matter what the circumstances are, you matter. Okay, because you matter. That means number 2, you are important. You are important in the life of your family. Don't ever forget that. Always remember that you are important in the life of your family. Okay, and then number 3, because you matter, and because you are important, you are needed. Okay, we need Dad. Okay. So we want you to understand those 3 things. And remember, if you watch that last video, that means that you made a commitment. Hopefully you made that commitment, that you would say that to yourself every single day, that you matter, you are important, and you are needed. Okay? So, Dustin, Amanda.
Yes, sir.
It's good to have you today on the set.
Yes.
All right, have you back with us and sharing with us. And we're just going to open up these conversations. They're not scripted. There's no script. These conversations are not guided by any type of scripting. This is all just free-flowing, organic conversation where you actually get to hear from the heart of the children, okay? And they can just share with you how they feel, what they think about these particular things or whatever, and why it is important for Dad to be present and not necessarily perfect, okay? Remember, this is so important to remember. Perfection is a myth. Persistence is a must.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
T-shirt.
Perfection is a myth. Persistence is a must. Don't forget that, Dad. All right? Okay, so Dustin.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Me and this clapping.
Yeah.
We're going to have to work on this clapping. You know what I mean? Stop it. Stop. No, man. I feel like I'm preaching when I'm talking, so I think that's why, that happens. But I talk with my hands. I talk with my hands. I talk with my hands, Yeah. Plus, I'm a little bit of a musician. Just a little bit of a musician. So
Wow.
I'm just saying, I'm a little bit of a musician. So I just, I talk with my hands. So it is what it is, So anyway, so just kind of talk to us, Amanda. I call her Amanda. Her name is Dustin Amanda, and I told y'all when we introduced, I gave her that name. Well, I did.
He did.
Good.
Good.
See what I'm saying? Okay, so let's just talk about, and can you tell us just from your perspective, why, in your mind and your heart, from your thoughts, why do you think we do not have to be perfect, or just talk to us about that a little bit?
I do not believe dads have to be perfect. Number 1, because we aren't perfect. Children, we are very flawed. Of course, we need a lot of correction coming up. And to look at someone who is not perfect and say, well, you made mistakes, but you came back from that. You can teach me from that, from your mistakes. I think that helps a lot because I feel like to have a dad, let's say hypothetically, if that was possible, that was perfect, it would be hard to try and live up to that standard. So I can appreciate having a dad that is perfect for me because I mean, he perfect for me, guys. Okay. uh, that is perfect for me, but not perfect according to worldly standards. So,
Well, man, you make a good point because that's a scripture. We live our life up, from the basis of scriptural principle. And one of the things that's in scriptures, two of my favorite things that are in scripture concerning children. One, it talks about how children are a blessing, that they're a heritage, that we never look at children as a burden. They are a blessing that the Father has given to us. We've been given the opportunity. That's exactly what it is. When we've been given children, we've been given a great opportunity. And so as we look at that, she mentioned the fact, that children need a lot of guidance. They need a lot of correction. Okay. And one of the things that, correction was when I was coming up, for the most part, you are going to get a whipping. Yes, you're going to get a whipping.
yeah.
Yeah. And, we got a lot of whippings, and that was, great, as a form of correction. It gave us discipline. You better stop that, man. You're going to get a whipping,
For real.
It gave us that form of discipline. And, we don't think there's anything wrong with that. Of course, we do not support any type of abuse in any way because you can't take it overboard. You can't become abusive. Okay, there's a difference in issuing that type of correction and being abusive, but we're not gonna get into that. But it says the scripture says that foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from them. Okay, so when we talk about that particular subject matter, of course, in times past, the word rod was the focus and the emphasis. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Yes, but when we balance that, we understand that correction, is something that takes many different forms. Sometimes correction has to do with, okay, yeah, I have to give you a spanking, but you want to kind of couple that with some conversation. Okay, but then the other time, correction has to do with, okay, we're gonna sit down, and I know you're gonna be tired of hearing me talk. And I know you're not gonna like the fact that I'm sharing what I'm sharing with you, and you're not gonna like the fact you're not gonna be able to circumvent and get around me and all of that. But we're gonna have this conversation because we got to correct this perspective of what's happening, what's going on. And so when it comes to that, oftentimes that correction happens, because there's awareness that is there because of a relationship, that has been built. The correction is more effective. Okay, it says that foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, right? So since foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, what has to happen is there has to be a connectivity so that in the connection, through that connection, heart connection that you have with the child, you can offer those things that are necessary and essential for them to actually be able to correct, right? To correct their behavior. Sometimes you have to correct their perspective. You correct their perspective, then you actually will in turn correct the behavior. So you made a good point about that. And one of the things and one of the things that I found that's important along those lines is also being transparent. We talked about the fact to our children, in many cases we've talked to them and told them about the fact that we're not perfect, and that sometimes we're wrong. We always tell them it's not your place to correct us. But sometimes we're wrong. You have to be able to say that you're wrong. You have to be able to apologize and that kind of thing. So yeah. So that's why you feel like we don't have to be perfect, because you guys make mistakes.
Yes.
You realize we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all learn from those mistakes. That's really good. So talk to me about maybe give me some examples, whatever. Just talk to me about why you feel or from your perspective, why when dad is present, now of course all parents, but why when dad specifically there, why when dad is present in your life or present at your event, whatever it is, that it helps you with your confidence. How does that work?
I feel like that's very important for dads to be present. I feel like from a girl's perspective, as a daughter, whose dad is always been there. You've been rocking with me since day one. You know what I'm saying? But um, to have you present has built my confidence in a way where it gave me my standard.
Mhm.
The way you treat me, even taking me out on dates from 3 years old till now. Um, that kind of stuff helps to set my mindset. It helps me not to lower my standard and cheat myself out of things, such as um, if some guy walks up to me and is like, "You are so beautiful. Can I have your phone number?" It's like you thought that just because you told my dad tells me that every day, or um, even certain things like I know a lot of girls will give themselves up easily because they haven't had that dad presence in their life. But it helps me to kind of set my standard high. Like I've had so many girls to say, your standards are too high for so many dudes. And it's like, well, I mean, the household I came from, I'm not gonna be marrying husbands. I'm not gonna have husbands. I'm gonna have a husband. So if my standards are high for a lot of guys, that's a good thing. So helping me not to lower my standards and to help me to not really care what other people have to say about the way I carry myself because it's not usual. I hear people say all the time, Dustin, you're so different. Why do you act like that? Why do you carry yourself in this way? Don't you think people think it's a little funny that you kind of put yourself off, or when someone asks you want to go on a date, I'm like, no, I'm good. Um, even things like that, or telling people I'm not gonna date somebody until I know who my husband is. Keeping all of that. So I think that helps in that way. Also with sporting events, just to see you there, and it's like I got my dad's support.
So I'm not loud.
Yeah, no, he is not. He is not loud at all.
My wife, on the other hand,
yeah,
it's
you gonna
all
hear
in
her
there.
before she can walk in.
We're different like that. I'm not that. That's not me. You might hear me every now and then. I might say, okay, man, look, come on, let's get the serve right, or something. But that's about it. I can't.
Yeah. But just to look in the stands and say, when the game starts, it's like, okay, it's game day. Okay, get your game face on. But when daddy walk in there and I remember one time I was about to serve the ball and I was like, man, I know daddy gonna get to this game, I'm just kind of doing my little pre-warm up. And so when I see him walk up them bitches, I was like, oh, it's game day. So just to have you present, to know you're gonna be there for me always, is just, yes, it does. It boosts your morale. It helps you not to conform.
Oh, that's interesting. So do you see that it's not necessarily, don't get me wrong, there should be interaction, there should be conversation, you need to talk, you need to share, you know what I'm saying? You need to be able to say, like, you cute up, or whatever, you need to be you need to be able to say that, okay? But at the same token, you need to understand that there's a lot that goes into you being there, even though there are things unspoken. That you just being a presence, that you just your support and your stability. Remember, I told y'all before that the word Abba, okay, in the Hebrew, that is transliterated to what we know, or translated to what we know as Father. It means strength of the house. Okay, in the origination of what father means or dad means, it means strength of the house. And remember, mom, provides her own strength, but there's a certain strength that only dad can provide to the house. Okay. And though there are strong women who've been able to provide so much strength, for their families and for their children without the men being present, it still doesn't change the fact that the father's design, things go better. The father's design was that there be the father and the mother in the house, and they're both providing the level of strength. There's things that the mom without the dad has to try to make up, and vice versa. But the dad per se, for the most part, it means literally the word father. Look it up. I challenge you to do that. Look it up. It literally means strength of the house, you know, and so you can tell too. You can look in there and see sometimes when the, you know, confidence or whatever happens, because you know there's games sometimes because of my work schedule and stuff that I have to be late to, or stuff like that, you know, and just being able to show up and just being able to come, you know, and just being able to watch, you know, and like I said, not saying very much, but you know, just being there, you know, being there is so important. Being there is so important. I mean, we've had some times when we've been able to see the difference, you know, in what that means, you know, we'll kind of share about that a little bit, you know, some differences.
I can say, once again, with the standard thing, I know a lot of times girls have not even standards with other guys, but actually standards with their dads, how they'll look at you, you know, and they might be fatherless or their dad works all the time. And they will say, I love the relationship you have with your dad. You know, you guys look like y'all are best friends. I'm like, you know, he low-key is. You know, he like one of them. And, you know, I can give an example of when we were at a basketball tournament. And one of the young ladies, her dad lived right down the street. And we were in Houston for this basketball tournament. And she was like, he lives right down the street. You make a right. He's the second house down. Why didn't he come to see me? I told him I'd be here. He told me he was going to come see me. Why doesn't my dad love me like yours does? And I didn't even know how to talk to that. I didn't even know how to speak to that. Because I feel like most of the time, us girls, I know we're so emotional. I feel like most of the time we just need a dad to help us with our emotional side. Just the occasional, how do you feel? How are you doing? Are you okay? Tell me what's up. Like me and dad, you know, we'll go sometimes and you know, he just sits and he's just like, talk to me. And I'm just like, daddy, what? You know, I'm boo-hooing, boo-hoo crying. You know, it's a little tough for him because you know he doesn't really know how to deal with
that's the experience.
All these emotions. But you know, just to be there, even though it kind of makes him uncomfortable when I'm just boo-hoo, ugly crying, you know, and he's still there. Even and I feel bad sometimes. I'm like, oh, I know this don't make him uncomfortable, but Dad, can I talk to you right quick? You know. But yeah, just to she's like, you know, she had a whole breakdown, but just because her dad wasn't there, she was like, he didn't even have to speak to me just to see him there at my game. I haven't seen him in X amount of years. I feel like seeing that and then seeing my relationship with you, I realize I'm quite blessed and I'm very happy about that because you know I need my dad. I often tell him we gotta die at the same time.
I'm not even listening to that. I'm not listening to
we
that.
We gotta go at the same time.
We're not even talking about that.
We gotta go at the same time.
No,
Lord, when you take him, I got to go too.
Now listen, let me tell
I
you
need
something.
my dad.
Let me tell you something. This, and I'm gonna tell you something. This is not at all because I know that there are certain circumstances, there are problems, there are issues, there are certain circumstances. People have different issues. So, you know, sometimes that is locked away in prison, sometimes that is passed on, you know, all those kind of different things like that. And so, you know, one of the things that I feel as a dad, you know, that, you know, sometimes we may end up kind of being almost kind of like a fill-in. You know, I've done some mentoring, you know, with, you know, other young people and stuff like that, and that didn't have their fathers in their lives. And even I did some mentoring for a little while for a local program that had, you know, different children that were involved, and most of them were in, you know, single parent homes, or most of them had a situation where dad was not present. And so it was something different altogether for them to actually be able to have the interaction, you know, with a person. Of course, I can't be their dad, but because I am a dad, you know, I'm a dad. You know, and so they don't necessarily call me dad, but there are certain aspects, you know, there are even different young people that are involved in my life, and even now, you know, in certain different ways, you know, some little girls and different stuff like that. I'm not going to mention some names, but that are a part of our lives, you know, and they're not just a part of my life, they're part of my family's life, you know, to a degree. And, you know, I feel it important to actually be able to make up the gap just to try. You know, I can't make every single game for them like I can from most games like I do most games with my children, but I can try to show up, try to be there, try to be available, to try to talk, because again, it's not about perfection. It's all about saying that I just, in every way, shape, form, or fashion, I just want to be there. Okay, I just want to be there, because that makes a difference in their world. And sometimes without you hearing them say it, you actually can see it on their countenance. You can see it on their face. It is so vitally important. I don't want you to be looking at them like, because even our interaction, as it's not perfect. This is not an image or picture of perfection. All right. Because there have been some times where it's like, okay, we plan the date, we ready to go on the date, and something happens, something come up, because not only do I have a job responsibilities, I also have ministry responsibilities, and so anything come up at any given point in time, and sometimes that just doesn't work out. Now we always try to find a way to circle back, to try to make it happen, to try to make it work out. Like, wait a minute, man, it's been a minute, we might need to go ahead and pick this back up again, and try to figure out, especially now with the whole and all of that stuff like that, and stuff shut down, and they potentially talk about stuff being shut down again. You know what I mean? So it's a lot that goes into it. It's challenging. It is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Trust and believe it is not easy. I mean, the children now are to the point to where they're about to leave and approach the journey into adulthood, for the life that they're preparing to live, and get ready to go to college. And the oldest graduated last year, and then these twins are graduating this year in a few months. And everybody's going to be moving and going to college and doing all these different things like that. It's a different time frame, different time for a different season for my wife and myself. And we've learned a lot. We've grown together as a family. We've grown together. We walked together through our mistakes, and cried and prayed and cried, and yeah. Prayed some more, and walked through different seasons of our life and experienced loss and all those kind of different things like that. But at the end of the day, it is being present that makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. This past July, it's been a little bit over a year now, July 2019, my dad, after 73 years of being blessed with life, exited this life and transitioned, into eternity. And I'm going to tell you, even as a grown man, it's different for me, and I'm grateful for the fact that I still have my mom, and my mom and I, we talk probably every 3 or 4 days. If she hadn't heard from me, and it's been a little too long, she's going to call, and tell me, hi, stranger, and then we'll have a conversation. So I'm really grateful for my mom, but it does make a difference just knowing, Dad and I didn't talk every single day. He and I talk, periodically from time to time, because he can talk a long time, And so I usually would go visit Dad when I really didn't have anything else to do, because I know he was going to want to talk, and and then we would kind of do different things, have different interaction, and just even those simple moments, me being an adult and being a father and having children of my own, it's just a different world without him here, but thankfully there was enough interaction with me and him, till although physically, I miss him, physically he is not present, still the principles that he taught me, the things that he gave to us, in our lives when we were growing up, and even into my adulthood, that interaction that we had, that is still present, that is still with me. So that still becomes a guide and a barometer for me as well. One of the toughest things, that I ever experienced, and my dad was not perfect. Dad made his mistakes. He did the best he could, but he was not perfect. But, I can say this one thing. I never, ever did have to live in the house without him, and that makes a big difference. That makes a big difference. And so, dads, we just wanted to really encourage you, just to, and I keep saying that because it's so important that you realize that this is about encouraging you. This is about you. We're going to be talking a little bit more, but this is about you really being able to hear from the perspective of a child, the perspective of your children, to be able to hear what it means to them, you know, for you to be present. That, you know, we don't want to beat you up, you know. There's some ways that we can support you. There's information that is down in the comment section. There's an email where you can get in touch with us, where we can kind of talk, you know, we can kind of share some things, we can kind of give you support, we can kind of give you some support, some pointers, because that's what this is all about. Our care is more than just videos on YouTube. The plan is that we're going to be developing this even further, and you'll have access to different materials, and we're building out a website, and you know, we'll have our care gear and stuff like that that'll be available to you. But then the big thing is, we've been hosting a men's conference. It's called into a family conference, and so we're going to continue just to build up on that, you know, throughout our care, and be able to bring dads together. And we're going to have some strengthening, iron sharpening iron, and times together. We'll be able to fellowship, and so able to give support, as much support as we possibly can, to every dad that we possibly can reach over this course of time. So thank you so much for being with us again. Please
Well, thanks again. So glad you joined us tonight. I hope you got a lot out of that conversation. There's going to be some more of those conversations coming in the month of February. All of the children, my wife will all be on, and we'll be sharing with you. Thank you so much again for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of our channel, for being a part of our journey. Sorry for the technical difficulties that we experienced there. This is live tonight. Just be forgiving on that. But nevertheless, listen, it's been great. We've had fun. Don't forget that you are important, you are needed, you matter. You are a good man doing the best you can, and you're going to continue to work to make your best better. Thanks for joining us on Facts and Fatherhood. We will see you on next Fatherhood Friday. See you later.